Sometimes when things go wrong, you can't blame life. Cause when you shot your shot, what was your aim like? What were you targeting? Cause if it ain't right, and you still go with it, then that is on you. It's on you, it's on you, it's on you.
What's going on, you guys? This is ROMI and Sam Hay, and this is part 2 of our episode regarding relationships.
There it is. It's part 2. Let's continue on with this conversation, y'all.
So here's another example of how you can build relationships, right? It's when you do what you say you're gonna do. And if you cannot do what you say you're gonna do, you're gonna follow up with that person and say why you can't do it, and here's your plan to actually do what you're gonna do. So a lot of people, like, you know, in the work environment, when someone says, hey, yeah, I'll get you those cargoes in for you today by 5 p.m. And then if you don't meet that 5 p.m. deadline that you set, I didn't set it, you said it to me, you've missed it, you've just hurt your relationship with me. Because you've made me build distrust in you.
Yes.
So if I distrust you for getting that job done, how does that distrust affect other jobs that you're gonna tell me you're gonna get done?
That's a good point. That is a good point, because I know, like, anytime somebody's giving me a deadline or a time, I'm like looking forward to it. Like, I didn't even bring it up, but you said it, so I'm like, oh yeah, this is about to be awesome. And then when you don't come through, I'm like, and that's happened, and I'm kind of like monitoring this person. I'm like, they're not really A1 like that. To me, I think it's better to not give a deadline at all. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying that you should not. Like, there are times when you should. But to me, it's better to either give a range of time or to be like, hey, I will let you know another update by this time.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I use I'll let you know, I'll give you a status update at XYZ time. And I set an alarm on my phone so I remember it, right?
Exactly.
And I think what we're really getting down to is accountability. When we set these deadlines, people are going to expect us to hold those deadlines. And when we say, hey, I'll follow up with you at sometime 2 hours or 3 hours from now, they kind of expect it. Or if they don't expect it, they're very pleasantly surprised when you do follow up, right?
Yeah.
Or my favorite though, is I'm going to give you a deadline that in my mind, I know is way more than enough time that I need.
Oh yeah.
But I'm going to show up to you early and say, hey, it's done. And you're going to be like, damn, bro, you good?
You good.
Okay.
That's that under promise, over deliver type thing. Yeah, of course, that always hits, right? Christmas came early, bam, oh, you the man. It builds you up in people's eyes, right? And not that you're just looking to be built up in people's eyes, but at the same time you are, right? Because we want people to think the best of us, right? And why? Because then when there's an opportunity as well that pops up, they're gonna look at us as like, oh, this is the guy, this is the gal that we gotta put on this. Really, what I love about building relationships is I want to be the first one you think of when you think of whatever it is that's good and that's attached to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's super key for me. In fact, the last 2 positions that I've had have been off the strength of relationships. Just like you did not apply. And you know what's crazy about it? Those were actually my highest paying gigs.
I want to time out real quick. We did apply, you know, for legal reasons we had to apply.
Correct.
We did apply for the jobs.
Correct.
We went through HR.
We did. Well, I'll tell you this, actually a couple of spots didn't have an HR.
Oh yeah.
They handled things internally, but I did end up applying. I just ended up applying
as a formality.
As a formality.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna be honest, it was as a formality. Right, and you know,
I gotta make sure we don't give any illegal advice.
Oh, I'm not giving advice.
Oh no, we're just telling you our story.
I'm telling you
That's
story.
what we're saying.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not giving you that advice. But I am telling you that this happens in the world today.
Yeah.
All right. I've even seen it happen for people who work government positions. Yeah. So the government really can't come after nobody for this, because I see it.
Essentially, we get headhunted.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. We get headhunted. Essentially.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. And you know what? It was great, because, you know, one of the things is that when people look at resumes, it really is depending on who's reading it. Some people care about certain things, but it's better when you have a real first person saying, this is the guy. Why? Because the person knows that now that other person who referred you, their name is attached to you. That's the reason why I don't just refer anybody to anything. I have to have a relationship with you and trust that you are capable and consistent and the right person for whatever the opportunity is. It doesn't have to just be a job, it's just anything. Specifically because if you end up being a bad apple, now my name slightly gets tarnished. And now the person is like, well, I can't necessarily trust your word because the last time you brought me something that was not of quality. And so that's one of the other things we got to be careful is you can't just refer anybody just because you're tight with them. You have to know the person and you have to be honest with yourself. We all want to help out people and do good deeds, but just because someone's related to you or you're cool with them or they're who you knew from growing up, is that really the right person for the opportunity? You got to think about that because ultimately it can hurt you in the end or benefit you. So that's the other thing, you know?
Yeah, and the last tactic I want to provide when you're on site and you're leading a team to help build your relationship with your team members is helping your team members save face.
Yeah.
I had a coaching talk with someone just 2 weeks ago, like, hey, when you call someone out, first off, don't call them out in front of everybody where they can't really defend themselves.
Correct.
Because you never know if there's a legitimate reason why they dropped the ball, right? And when you call someone out, it's not just you asking them, holding them accountable to whatever it is, but you're also adding peer pressure to it. You're adding public shame to it.
Yep.
Where if you save face with something like, hey, let me holler at you over here real quick. What happened with this project? Like, we talked about it. You told me it'd be done at XYZ time. It's ABC time. What's going on? Mm-hmm. And that helps save face because now you're being a collaborator with that person by asking what's happening. And then you're also not publicly shaming them.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. That's that whole praise in public and well, I don't know if it's reprimand, but scold in private, you know.
I know the quote you're trying to say.
Yeah, you know.
It's lavish in praises or something like that.
Yeah, all of that good stuff, right? And I mean, I've actually had to do that a couple times as a leader, right? I've had to do that ultimately, one, because I was responsible for my team, but I had given a couple people chances to perform in a certain way, and when they dropped the ball, rather than me just pointing the finger, I actually took that on the chin, and I was able to have the conversation with that person in private, but in public, I did what I needed to do. It was damage control, and I took ultimate responsibility. And in that moment, even the people who knew that they messed up, they were so appreciative that they actually became stronger performers because they never wanted to let me down ever again, because other people would have thrown them under the bus, but just doing that one act of kindness and mercy and just being a stand-up person, it does so much more. And so I encourage everybody, you know, before you just want to throw people under the bus just for your namesake or whatever, you know, it's better to not burn bridges. It's better to show mercy. It's better to show love. And it's better to continue to foster relationships because you're going to help make yourself better and the people around you better as well.
I like that a lot. And I know I said I had one last one earlier. This is legit the last one I'm going to say.
Keep going.
And it's you have to be consistent. You must be consistent in how you approach and interact with every single individual. Because if you fluctuate, you're nice one day, asshole the next, it's not gonna work. People are not going to respect you. They're gonna be like, Rami is a very inconsistent person. I don't know what to expect, and because I don't know what to expect, I don't have a strong relationship with that person.
That's a good point. I'm not gonna keep going. I could keep going all day. I'm gonna stop. We know you got great value out of this content, so make sure you share this with someone else and continue to build relationships with others. Until next time, Mindset Rebooted.
Sometimes when things go wrong, you can't blame life. Cause when you shot your shot, what was your aim like? What were you targeting? Cause if it ain't right, and you still go with it, then that is on you.